The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indie Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indie Comics Network or its sponsors.
Hey everyone, I'm back after taking a bit of a week's hiatus because Dr. Crap. But now I'm streaming on this weird Saturday. I don't understand. But I got my very good friend Ian with me, and we're going to entertain and draw with you for a couple of hours.
Hello. Yeah, you can blame me for the wacky day.
It's fine. No one minds. We're all good here. Let's see. I'm actually going to be working on I'm working on a digital piece today, which is part of my comic. I'm not going to say where it is in the comic, but I am working on a scene.
Very cool. Very cool.
Thanks. I got to solidify a bunch of the lines and work in the rest of the background, but I think mostly we're going to be fixing up the foreground stuff today. Getting it in there.
Yeah, so the horizon line is basically like just below the table there.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking it's like right around here. So you can see the top of these, and then you got the bottom here. So I'm thinking it's right around here.
Yeah. So is that the floor line at the end of the room there?
Yeah, I throw it in there just more for my own edification, because I did it on a separate layer, so I can take it out if I need to.
Move it up and down, whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, I just toss that in and be like, okay, this feels right for now, and I might take it out, I might push it back further. I could do things with it. So
it just depends where you want that table in the room. Like right now, it's like close to the wall. If for some reason you wanted it further away, you could move it up. Whatever fit the rest of your scene.
Yep. Yeah, I don't expect it to be there by the end, because I'm thinking I'm gonna have some people behind the table.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got kind of this basically in the middle of a bar brawl is what's going on. So I was thinking about adding some silhouettes of people fighting in the background and stuff like that.
Okay, that's cool.
I'm just trying to get a good idea of what I want to do with it and kind of go from there.
So do you is this like your first, do you have like a thumbnail that you did of the page first, or is this like your first step? Yeah.
Oh no, I have a thumbnail around here someplace. It's a smaller one where I could work out all the damn perspective. So
I was just curious. We all work at different, like we all have like the different things we have to do with the horizon lines and the perspective and everything, but sometimes we all do it in like different orders. That's all.
Oh yeah, no, it's very true. I often work on I do a lot of things on this like 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper when I do a lot of my layouts and stuff. And when I'm doing something like this, I draw like a smaller thumbnail on it. Yeah, kind of like what you have there on yours.
Yeah.
And I'll ruler out where everything is and then kind of grid it and eyeball it.
Yeah, this was that other piece where I was telling you about, like, it's not going to be printed in a comic, so I had to figure out what the margins would all be before I, went to the next steps. And then I had to scale it up to 11 by 17. This is actually going to be like on a banner with like it's like bigger than the normal comic title. It's narrower. So like I had to completely figure out all of the crop lines and everything beforehand. But
yeah, that's basically kind of what I was doing with this. I don't know what I did with the rough layout of this. I drew this the other day. I might have recycled the sketch. But yeah, basically whenever I do it, I draw a small thumbnail, then I lay out my perspective grid and all that on that, and figure out where everything is, and then I use that to eyeball for this. Sometimes I scan them in and sketch over them.
Oh, over the prelims. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people do the old analog way of doing that, where they'll have the prelim and then they'll put it on a copy machine and blow it up and then light box it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liefeld did that for years.
Yep.
I think he still does that. But yeah.
Who should I draw? I'm doing these 6x9 little sketches because they fit better in my suitcase for away shows than I found that the sketch covers are nice, but I can only bring so many because there's all that extra paper.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to have more of these that I can fit into like one bag and board and have them on my table.
Yeah, I got a bunch of backing boards in here that I like to draw on as well.
Yeah. And the good thing about these is if I ever sell them like on my website, I actually have envelopes that are just the exact size of the 6x9. So, and it only takes one stamp, which seems criminal to me.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, if you're going to ask me who you should draw, I always say Raven.
So. You do always say Raven. I got to pull up my phone. I think my phone is dying, but I can pull up reference.
I'm going to grab a couple of tissues. I'll be right back. I had a flu shot the other day, so I'm a little wonky.
So you got that little cold from getting the flu shot?
Yeah, but for me, it's not usually little. So
okay.
It's the immune compromised thing that I am, so it can hit me a little bit harder. Thankfully, it's really not doing it this time, which I'm very surprised about. The last year's flu shot killed me.
That is good. I know they tweak it a little bit every year, so it makes sense that it affects people differently each year.
Yep.
I hear a cat.
Yep, that was Rocket. He's complaining that I'm not giving him attention. And Hobbs is right here.
Hello, Hobbs.
He doesn't want me to grab him.
No way.
Come here. Come here. That's me. Yeah. Well, Peter Palmiotti's back home, so I'm gonna be doing a show with him soon.
Nice.
It'll be like old times, the two of us together.
Yeah, he's been posting all kinds of stuff lately.
Yep. Don't worry, everyone. I'll boost Ian in a bit.
Oh, no worries. I'm at the beginning. They can actually see that you're working on something right now, so that's good.
True. Actually, I think I'm going to do some more realistic lines on this.
I was actually talking to a mutual friend in Craig Russo earlier in the week a little bit, and just picking his brain on specifically one thing that I think that he is phenomenal at, which is foreshortening figures in motion, which is when, like, for people who don't know what that means, that's when a character is like coming towards the viewer. It's like a front to back dynamic that Kirby really like established in comics as the standard for visual language and superheroes and action. And I'm doing a couple of projects where I'm going to need to do some more exaggerated action for it to really, I think, land with the reader. And he said something that definitely stuck with me, which was that when you're doing it, you want to have big curved lines and big, bold, long lines in order to have like the lines of action. But he said when you're working on it, and this is something that I definitely struggle with, is I will slow myself up because for some reason at its current state of incomplete, I'll be telling myself that it's wrong. But not to worry as hard about that until you're further along with the piece, especially when like I am right now, just kind of roughing it out. And like for Raven, I want to have her hands coming forward towards the viewer at different depths.
Oh, definitely.
So like one will be a little bigger than the other, and but when you think about it, or at least when I'm thinking about it, sometimes that's contradictory to like the instinct of what my brain is telling me. So like I'll stop and be like, no, this has to be wrong, even though like I'm only, you can see I've only got like 6 lines down on the page at this point, but I'm already defeating myself that early in the drawing. So it definitely resonated with me when it comes to doing stuff that's new or that I would not say is my strong suit in illustration.
I can respect that. Foreshortening took a lot for me to get like a basic grip on. I think I do it okay. I try to make everything always look like it's in motion. That's my general goal whenever doing art.
It's tough. It's definitely tough.
Oh god, yeah.
Especially to have it not look wonky.
Yep.
There's a famous Marvel 2-in-1 cover that was penciled by Bob Layton and inked by Joe Rubinstein. And it's a Wolverine crossover. And it was the time where Herb Trimpe got to go back and do another Wolverine full-length story.
I know the one you're talking about. I think I have it.
On the interior. And if you look at it, like you can see what they're going for. They're trying to have this dynamic shot of like the front half of Wolverine being closer to the viewer than not. But to me, in that case, it just comes off as like solid line work, but the structure just came off a little wonky.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
It's in the 100s. It's one of the later team-up issues. Not quite at the end, but when they relaunched it,
yeah.
Or it became Web of.
Yes, it became Web of then. That's right. I've been slacking off lately. I've been meaning to get in some stuff for some conventions, but I've been so tired.
It's a ton of work. Like just booking conventions is like I've got like 3 or 4 that I want to do, but I just haven't had time to, especially, in our cases, like we got to pay for, if not everything, then at least most of everything for, some of these appearances. And it's just like, got to make sure you have the money for the booking the hotel, find out what the sales deal is in that city or state or whatever.
Yeah.
Just, it takes a ton of work.
Yep. I try not to do New York shows for the sales tax reasons because they can be brutal.
New York and Connecticut, it's basically the same law where they make you file monthly for the whole year. It's such a pain in the butt.
Yep.
I remember one time I was going to do the New York show, and I put in my paperwork, and I couldn't do the show. I had a family emergency, and so like I didn't even do the show. But just because I put the paperwork in, I was getting a phone call a month later, like, "Oh, you haven't filed anything." It's like I have not set foot in your state, official representative.
Yeah. Yep, that's one of the reasons I won't do a Connecticut show either, is for similar reasons.
Yeah, it's the same law.
Just
copy and paste. Until we're making enough money where we can have like a full-timer doing just the financial end for us.
Exactly. Be sometime after that Netflix deal.
Sure. One cool thing about the original Raven design was just and I don't know if this was just the motif going around, but the very graphic approach to the face shadow, where it's like it doesn't fit with necessarily the mask every time, but they kept the same shape in different
Yeah.
shots, kind of like Nightcrawler's face,
Yep.
where it's just always in shadow.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I always loved I love Perez's original design of Raven. It's coming along good.
Thanks.
It's got a few lines in there. It's already looking really good.
I've also been working on like the centering on my my appendages and figures. Like if you're moving a figure around, making sure that like, you know, the neck is centered on the rib cage, and if you're looking at it from below, you know, the neck's obviously not as long as if you're looking at it from straight on, and it's a little set back towards the spine, and just things like little things like that where I personally have a bad habit of getting lazy on that sometimes.
Yeah, I kind of make getting lazy on that stuff myself. Oh.
It was nice though. This morning, I took while I was drinking my coffee, I had time to read a couple of newer comics. I don't know if they unfortunately just canceled this series, but like, I don't know if you were reading it, but these X-Men Legends comics where they were doing 2-part stories set back in the old days.
Yeah, those are cool.
I've really been enjoying them. This was a 2-parter for Long Shot and Mojo World with Ann Nesenti writing.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
And it was fun because like, yeah, there's like some cheesy lines and like some stuff like that, but it's Mojo, so it's like, of course there's cheesy lines, and it's
there
like
better be cheesy lines if it's Mojo, and it's got Long Shot. We almost do nothing with Long Shot.
Yeah, and it was just a fun 2-part story. Kevin Eastman did the other cover. Art Adams did the first one.
That looks like Eastman right there.
Yeah. It is, yeah.
That looks great.
I read it and I thought it was a lot of fun, and I'd been reading that book, you know, as it went along. The only one that I didn't read was because I didn't really read that part of the book that much, was the Peter David 2-parter with X Factor, because they had somebody other than Larry Stroman drawing it, which I was like, what?
That's not right.
He's right on Facebook. Just send him a message. Be like, Larry.
Yep. I'm friends with him on Facebook. He's a great guy.
He seems very nice. I only met him once at the Little Giant show, either last year or the year before, and I bought a Storm sketch off of him that he had in his binder. It was just beautiful.
Yeah, I like his art a lot.
Because when we were picking up books, like, you know, there were so many like Jim Lee or Image clones and stuff, and his stuff was just different. And
yep. His stuff is great. I had that entire run, the David Stroman run on X Factor.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah, I liked that run.
Because I did not like X Factor when it first started with the Butch Geis, Bob Layton stuff, and then I like this. I'll read any. I'm sure you're the same way. I'll read anything Walt and Louise Simonson work on, basically.
Okay. Yep.
And then they had their run, which was very, very enjoyable.
Yeah, they had Apocalypse.
Yep.
Yeah. Is it,
she's got that big like
around the top of the hour, I will do my pull of the week. So
okay, cool.
Something for that.
Sorry if I jumped the gun.
No worries.
It's like, I can talk about this.
Definitely talk about comics. You can always talk about comics. But I just got my I usually refer to him as my dealer, arrived. Dropped off my books, so.
Yeah, I picked those up, the ones I read earlier, you know, but they're not brand new. I picked them up a while ago, but I, like every good cartoonist, you have a giant pile of to-be-read comics.
Oh, God, yeah.
All right. Now I've got the basic gesture. I can start to fix things.
My cat Rocket is sitting on my like TV stand table, just meowing at nothing. So
my cat is like going to be closing in on 20, and he's pretty old, and he has his routine that he likes. And if we do not get out of bed at his chosen time, which is like the usual work time, even on the weekends, he'll be like, hey, it's time to get up. It's time to get up. This is my bed now. You're supposed to make it so that I have the bed.
Yeah. Well, Cat Houdini just passed away. He wasn't really my cat anymore. I had to give him up several years ago. Actually, quite a long time ago. He made it to 18.
It's a good run.
Yep.
Sorry to hear they passed away.
Yep. It was sad. Still love the guy.
The two cats my folks had when I was in high school, one of them was pretty much my cat, and he's the one that the Fat Cat Funnies logo is based on. And he only lived to like 13 or 14, but the other cat lived over 20. And he was a crazy old cat by the end.
That's awesome. Yeah, Hobbs is like 13, I think. And the Alikat Comics logo is inspired by Hobbs, so. And I have a second printing one that is a black and white cat. That's in the, whenever I do a second print, I will put that logo up, and that one's the rocket inspired one.
Oh, cool!
Yeah, I just color swapped it, but yeah.
You were the second cat. You get to be the second print logo.
Yep. Now he's complaining about it. Yep, deal with it. Your second print. And the third print one is a decapitated bunny head. Which that's an ongoing joke from an old comic strip I did.
Okay.
Marie was like, "You have to do the." She's like, "You got to do the decapitated bunny head." And I'm like, "All right, I will."
All right. Got to give the people what they want.
Yep.
Yeah, with most of my books, I just keep it as an open print run. To be honest, like as long as I don't have to change paper stock or printer or anything, I'll just. There's no other difference. So.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I have to. My quasi rule of thumb is if I print over 3,000 copies of it, I'll call it second print.
Okay.
So I don't see that happening. So.
I mean, I said the same thing, but with like even with the early small town stuff, like it just as long as you keep putting the book out, people are going to keep wanting to buy that first issue.
That's true.
Gotta make sure I get the cheekbones right. That's another thing that I generally point out when I'm looking at artwork, as far as like when you're picking out the things on a figure that denotes an artist who has done a lot of studying is cheekbones, hands, feet, and generally if they can twist the torso. Like that's usually the things that separate like experienced professional from up and coming.
That's very true. Especially the twisting the torso. It took me forever to figure out how to do that. I still don't think I get it right half the time.
Original Raven's got like a big swoopy, like loinclothy skirt thing.
Yep.
Yeah. With these little drawings, I like having, I got to have the characters that people expect me to have in the binder, but I also like that I can just have fun and try to have characters that like maybe nobody has at their booth or whatever. I'll draw like, Angel and the Ape or something, and
Oh, that'd be cool.
have silly characters.
Yeah, but you gotta have your Batman, you gotta have your Superman, Wolverine.
I have to have at least a handful of like Tick and Ninja Turtle drawings in there.
Oh yeah, well you're known for the Tick, so.
But that's what I have to have in there, because people, when they come up, because my next show is at the end of March in Cleveland. I'm just trying to have, New Orleans went pretty well, except I just can't. I was able to ship books down to that one, so I was able to bring more of those sketch covers. And at this one, I'm not going to have that luxury. I'm going to have to schlep everything on the airplane.
Oh, that definitely sucks.
And for this one, it's one of those tight turnaround ones because I got to be home and doing stuff at home and at work. So like I'm flying in on Friday morning at the crack of dawn, getting to the show Friday, and then work the show Friday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then flying back Sunday evening to be back on Monday for regular work type stuff.
God, you're gonna kill yourself.
Fingers crossed there's no delays or cancellations.
Yeah, so you don't get like trapped in Ohio.
Again.
I was just gonna say again, but I couldn't remember if it was Ohio the first time, or if this is a different state that you get stuck driving home from.
Yeah, it was Ohio. I try to go back once a year. My folks are out in that state, so on this trip I don't get to see them, but I'll get to see some other friends because I started doing conventions and stuff while I was living out there in high school, and so I know a lot of the pros that you see around at the shows there.
Oh, cool. I didn't realize you were from Ohio.
Well, I went to high school and middle school there. I moved around a lot. I was born in New England and went to college out here and spent most of my time out here. So it's like, how do you define where you're from? Is it where you were born? Is it where you spent the most time? Some people are like, oh, where'd you graduate high school? I'm like, really? That's where you're from? Is where you graduated high school? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's more of where you just think of yourself as where you're from.
Yeah. And that's generally, how I've looked at it.
I mean, I've always thought of myself as a Bostonian, so.
Yeah.
Even when I was living in Rhode Island. I mean.
Well, Rhode Island and Massachusetts, like to someone who's not from the area, they're not going to notice it, but they have very distinctly different flavors, I would call it.
Oh, yeah, they do. I mean, Rhode Island's just a suburb of Boston, so. But yeah, they definitely have a unique flavor to different things.
Different feel, even when you just cross over because I was in Tiverton this morning. I had to run a couple errands, and even just going that, over the border there, it was, totally different from that part of Massachusetts.
Yep. They have this strange obsession with coffee milk.
Yeah.
And granted, that's also a Fall River thing, but it's definitely a Rhode Island thing.
I do appreciate Rhode Island's affinity for hot dogs. I'm a big fan of hot dogs, so.
Yeah, they do have a good hot dog culture there.
Whether it's Olneyville or one of the other places down in Providence, there's some good hot dogs around.
Yep. Yeah, we used to sometimes get hot dogs for lunch. I was at Verizon. Walk down to one of the hot dog places.
It was one of the benefits of the little Attleboro shows. They would have the food truck come, and they had pretty good hot dogs.
Yep.
And there is a difference between good and bad hot dogs out there, audience. If you do not understand this, we need to establish this as part of our base language.
Yes, we do. There is definitely a difference between good and bad hot dogs.
And generally, the bad hot dog is the cheapest one on the rack at the grocery store. That doesn't mean the best or the most expensive, but the cheapest ones that are like the skinless ones.
Yeah, Those are bad. Those are very bad.
If you serve, look, I will eat them if it is served to me because, obviously, like, I have manners. But
Yeah. Yep.
take the next step up to like either the Nathans or the Hebrew Nationals, or even the Market Basket skinned franks are terrific.
Yeah, those are pretty good.
But they do have cheaper store brand ones. They have like a better one that's the skin frank, and then they have like the cheaper ones.
I have a cat on my lap now. He doesn't want me to draw. He wants me to play with him.
Oh, Hobbs.
Yep.
This is why I have to close the door during my live draw. It's bad enough when he's in here. I can get away with it if he's in here sleeping. So then you just have to hear him snoring. But he would be like, "It's time to pick me up." And I've got like a high chair and a desk. So like if I pick him up and sit down, he's okay for about 5 minutes. Then he gets scared because he's up so high.
Yeah.
Trying to frame the figure. She always has like the smoke and stuff.
Yep.
Floating around. And I like having these at shows also just because I like having 6x9s. I try to put about an hour or so of work into them. Sometimes it goes a little over, but that's on me. And I sell these for like $35 at a show.
Oh, that's not bad. That's actually really good.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at New Orleans, just the cost of stuff, like, it's just gone up like everything else. And it's really hard to have an entry level price point for people to get interested in original artwork. So I try to have that available because, when I was a kid, like, obviously we were getting, paid a lower numeric number, but there were still plenty of places for you to like get introduced to it. And I try to have that similar experience available.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Because my first sketch was a quick little free doodle from Daryl Banks, actually. It was just a quick 10-second little Batman head sketch remark. And it definitely got me interested in like learning about, you pay artists to do fancier sketches and all that stuff. And I definitely got interested in it even more so after that point. So.
Oh, that definitely makes sense. That's pretty cool, though. That's what got you into it.
As far as the collecting aspect, yeah. Like I always knew about making artwork, but it always, coming from fine art, one of the reasons that I just had to get out of it was that it's so exclusionary and expensive, and like quality does not denote value.
No,
it's a machine, and I definitely benefited from that when I was younger, because when you're like this young kid showing at galleries and stuff, they're like, well, it's going to be worth 10 times this in 100 years or whatever. And it's like, you benefit from the hype machine or whatever. But I just found it to be, in the long run, kind of icky.
I can definitely respect that. I've pretty much only ever really wanted to be a cartoonist, so.
Yeah. I mean, I would say, like, in my mind, I felt that way, but because of like the direction that like school and family like kind of pushed me, and opportunities that I was given to give it a go, I went fine art direction for a little while, and then you start looking at, or at least I was looking at like, okay, how do I make a living?
Right.
Once some of the novelty wears off, and it's extraordinarily hard. And that's when I went more the commercial art route with learning graphic design skills and print production and all that stuff that I still use to this day. Like, it always goes to like making comics, but on the in between gigs, I have to take graphic design gigs because corporate gigs just pay more. You got bills to pay. I've got medical bills. I've got all the normal bills everybody has.
Yep. No, I know that feeling. Medical
Yep.
bills? Yeah, lots.
Yep. Yeah.
That is like my life.
And there's been some controversy lately about people, pumping out variant covers. I'm like, I will not judge anyone that's making a living off of
I won't either.
being a fine artist or a commercial artist. Excuse me.
Yeah,
It's extraordinarily hard.
No, if you make a living doing variants, then you make a living doing variants.
Yep. And I wholly admit, like, the ones that I buy are almost exclusively by friends of mine for the most part. When it comes to those exclusive variants, like if a buddy of mine is doing one, I'll absolutely support that. But when it comes to like buying them off the shelf, like I'm just not. I guess I'm just not as picky. Like unless there's a cover that just like instantly grabs me, I'll just grab whichever one's on the top of the stack of the book I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the case for that X-Men Legends book. Like I didn't know either of these were the variant. They were just the one on the top of the stack.
That's awesome. Yeah, there was a book I just ordered, and I specifically ordered it because I wanted. Well, I was interested in the book, so I was getting it no matter what. But I was specifically interested in one of the covers because it was done by Kim Jong-gi.
See, that's cool.
And I wanted his black and white variant cover. That was just the line art.
Oh, cool.
So I bought 10 of them to get that one.
Wow. Yeah.
That's not something I do very often.
Well, but that's a special case. Like, and I'll do a similar thing with creators that I follow, even if it's not just somebody that is a buddy of mine. I used to definitely be on the lookout for whenever they would have, either like a Frazetta cover or, trying to think, because so many of the folks that I follow, like Chris Samney would almost always do the interior too. Same thing with like Paulo Rivera. They would do both. I'm trying to think of artists who are more cover artists that I definitely would pick up just their stuff. Like I've picked up some Ross covers before, for sure.
Was it when Wrightson was doing more covers than interiors? I used to buy every cover he did.
Yeah. I was actually just looking at a book of I picked up when it came out that Treasury edition size of the Ghoul.
Oh, that looked great. I wish I had the money for it.
Well, it was only $10.
Oh, wow. Cover
price. I mean, now it's probably more expensive as like some sort of collectible, but new off the shelf, it was $10 for a soft cover. And I was just thinking about that whole like second age of Wrightson artwork that came out with Steve Niles through IDW.
Yeah, some of that stuff was great because he had Dead, She Said. He had the Ghoul.
Dr. McCarr.
Yeah. Oh, God, I love that stuff.
Used to see Niles around at shows now and again, but I haven't seen him in years.
I haven't either.
He used to also contribute to that like digital webbing board that all those old timers used to hang out at.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He used to be on there.
Yep, me, Nate Lovett, Ray Height, Jeremy Dale, a young Bob Kirkman, Otley, Ian Asher.
I used to lurk. I never posted.
Who's the other guy that did all the recent Conan stuff? Mahmoud Asrar. Yeah. New Conan in July.
Yep. I'll be getting. Ooh, we have some people to say hello to.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, Punk? And how's it going, James? Hope you guys are doing well.
Hey, thanks for popping in.
I will show off what Ian's working on. Get him some solo layouting here.
Yeah, I gotta fix these shoulders a little bit. They're a little off. But trying to get the foreshortening, and I don't remember what her energy looked like.
It's dark black energy stuff. And sometimes it's a let's say you can see it kind of in there, the purplish, but yeah, the black with the gold around it.
Okay, cool. That changes things. I'm gonna have to get my circle templates out.
Ooh. Do some Kirby dots. Get some crackle going.
Although the good thing about 2 circles, though, is that you can really use that to exaggerate the spatial relationship.
Yes, you can. Very much so.
You know, if this one's bigger, you can tell that it's closer than this one that's nice and small.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that sounds rudimentary, but that's something that, like, I see all the time, and I've been guilty of it myself, is if I use the same 2 of the same geometric shapes, like you can see with her earrings, but here it actually makes sense, is that these circles are going to be basically the same size.
Give me 1 second. I'll solo you again when you're doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These earrings, this one's a little further away, so it'll be a tiny bit smaller, but they'll be approximately the same size. But since this hand is coming forward, we want this circle like nice and big, and then this one we can have it be, I don't know, maybe
smaller.
30% smaller.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I do like the electrical outline. That'll be fun to do. I'm gonna maybe try to think of a way to do it with the whiteout pen.
Oh, yeah, that could be really cool. Doing that, because, yeah, that will contrast it nicely.
Yeah. Give it a little height. And that's a thing that, like, you can only see on the original. You know, when you're holding it in your hand, it loses that a little bit when you scan it in. Sometimes you'll get the little shadow, but I would say by and large, I mean, like an example on like you can see on this piece, whether it's the spatter, if you hold it at an angle, they all cast a little shadow. Same thing with right there. You can see, and it's a little shiny. It's a different texture.
Mm-hmm. The Modoc came out great.
Thank you.
I love Modoc.
I was on my stream on Wednesday, and I was like, "What should I draw?" And everyone was like, "Draw Modoc from Ant-Man and the Wasp." I was like, "I haven't seen that, but I can draw the Kirby one." And they're like, "Okay."
Yeah, it's like Quantumania. It was good. It was fun.
I feel like if people liked the other Ant-Man movies, that they really liked this one. So
yeah, that's basically how I looked at it. I mean, when I go to the Marvel movies, I'm not expecting high art. I'm expecting fun.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Generally speaking, I get it.
Because, you know, they spend all the money on, you know, the special effects, having the bigger name actors now. Like, imagine, like, you know, when we were first seeing comic book movies in the theater, you know, it was not generally, you know, the big bankable box office stars that were in the movies.
No, it really wasn't. I mean, the 89 Batman had the real killer cast.
Yep, with Nicholson. Yeah.
Yeah, and Keaton was definitely bigger.
Kim Basinger, who had the Academy Award nom.
Yep. And then but when you're really looking at them, though, I mean, with Superman, nobody knew who Christopher Reeve was. He was a nobody.
And I really think that helped us believe he could fly.
I do too. I mean, the person who had top billing in the original Superman films, up until the 4th one, because I don't think Gene Hackman wanted top billing for that, was Gene Hackman. So
yeah, Gene Hackman, and in the first one, Marlon Brando.
Yep, Marlon Brando, and then you had Margaret Kidder was one of the other names in it.
Yep.
And then you had, I said Christopher Reeve was like, nobody'd heard of him.
Now, I will argue till my dying day that I find Superman 4 more entertaining than Superman 3.
I will agree with you on that.
Notice I didn't say better, but I did say more entertaining.
Yes, I will agree with you on that. It is definitely not better, but it's more entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, you get the evil Superman, and I don't know if you've ever seen the deleted scene of the Bizarro character.
No, I haven't. I'll have to
Yeah,
look.
check it out. It's on YouTube. There was originally a whole nother fight scene, and I totally understand why they cut it out, but it's too cool not to mention is that when they make the evil clone, when they put the hair in space,
Mhm.
they originally in the movie do it twice, and the first time it doesn't work out so well. The clone is like a bumbling Superman Bizarro character,
Oh, that's awesome.
and they do this big expensive fight scene, and because they'd already cut the budget in the movie, I'm sure that like that's part of what tanked some of the rest of the special effects was them cutting this. I just can't believe they cut it out because of how expensive it was. If you see it, it's a fully finished scene of basically Superman versus Bizarro in Superman 4 that was never used.
Oh, it's terrible. Damn, that would have been awesome. Oh well.
It's on the YouTubes somewhere.
Yeah, I'll dig it up on the YouTubes. So, yeah. But I mean, you look at the first X-Men movie. You had Ian McKellen in it, and you had Patrick Stewart. Nobody really knew who Hugh Jackman was.
No, and the most famous person involved was the director.
Yeah, Brian Singer.
Yeah, for The Usual Suspects.
Yep.
We don't need to talk about him.
Yeah, no, this is not talk about him. But yeah. So, and then you had the Spider-Man movie, and it was like Tobey Maguire was, I thought, a really good cast for it, but I don't think he was really that major of an actor then.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Pleasantville.
Willem Dafoe was the big actor, so I don't know. Maybe Kirsten Dunst. I'm not remembering because it was so long ago now. If she was a movie star at that point, she might have been with like.
Yeah, she was. I think she was. I feel she was one of the bigger names because of Interview with the Vampire and other things that she'd been.
Right, yeah. Yep,
she was a child actor who made it. I mean, Tobey Maguire was too. So.
I mean, he was in The Wizard briefly.
Yep. Yep.
He was in one of the Back to the Future movies too, wasn't he? The second one?
I think he was in the second one.
Yeah.
Like he was like a background character or something.
Yeah, I think it was in like the Cafe 80s.
Yeah, he was in the arcade. He was one of the kids in the 80s.
Yeah.
The 80s place. So.
It's like a baby's toy.
Yeah.
Punkly asks, what you make here more exactly?
What you make here more exactly?
Yes.
Why do I not see that comment?
Are you on the private chat or the comment tab?
I'm on the comment tab, yeah.
Yeah, I see Punkly asks what you make here more exactly. And then John Celestri.
That's weird. I'm like not getting anybody's. The last thing I see is Punkly saying, "Am fine."
And this one's right after that at 2:41 p.m.
Weird. All right, hang on. I'm just gonna. There we go. Okay, I just refreshed it, so we can see there. All right. Hey, John. Sorry. For some reason I wasn't seeing comments. Now I am. All right. Make more exactly. Okay. I am working on a piece from my comic book. This is part of a major fight scene that's in the comic with my lead character, Danny. It's going to be a barroom brawl. So I am just laying out some of my more finished lines to get an idea of what I want to do with it. Back it out. But that's the start of it. And I'm basically putting down a good set of lines on to Danny and the main sequence. I still have to draw the rest of the background and other people that are in there, including her opponent. And Ian is working on Raven. A 6x9 piece on Raven.
Yeah, drawing Allison's favorite character in one of these. I do these little character sketches to have available to sell at shows. So,
yeah, I'm loving the Raven.
thank you. You're the Raven expert. So if you approve, I'll say it's not terrible.
I like it a lot. Yu-Gi-Oh! And Marvel Universe. Yes, that is Rocket. He's in the background. There's no escape. You are now a star.
You know, the comic how appear a little something from Yu-Gi-Oh! And Marvel Universe. I don't know what you mean by that, Punk. I think she just read that question, but
yeah, I've actually never seen an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! And I mean, I'm familiar with the card game and stuff. I have never really looked at it though. I take influence from several mangakas. I can't really avoid. Nobuhiro Watsuki is one of my big influences, and the less I say about him, probably the better. Even though I love Rurouni Kenshin. For American artists, Joe Mad's a big one on me, and Mike Turner. And I draw capes like Todd McFarlane. Actually, I do a lot of facial stuff like Todd McFarlane too.
people forget how exaggerated his stuff really was. Like, especially the cartooning aspect to like his background characters, his facial expressions. It was very, very exaggerated.
Yep, I loved it.
And people usually think of it like, oh, he does these dark comics, like these dark realistic cartoons. If you look back at like his Spider-Man stuff, or even before that, like
if they look at Invasion,
Invasion. The only time we got a Todd McFarlane Aquaman.
Yep.
Because like his style at that time was definitely, I think, more suited for like a lighter tone DC character. Which is why I don't think he was a bad pick for when he was doing was it All-Star Squadron?
Yeah, no, I think All-Star Squadron he would have been very good on.
No, wasn't that or was it what was the book he did over at DC that got inked to high heaven by Tony DeZuniga?
I think that was All-Star Squadron.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was All-Star Squadron now I think about it. Okay, is the comic with Marvel and Yu-Gi-Oh! In same comic made be how make Yu-Gi-Oh! A long time along? I don't really understand that. You can see this.
Oh, did they ever make a crossover? No, I don't think they did.
No, I don't think so either. You can see his comic on YouTube. I can see somebody making it, but it'd be more fan made. I don't think anyone's officially done it.
Yeah, for sure. That would be a logistics nightmare, I think.
Yep.
Although they did pull off that DC, what was it, the game with Batman, Fortnite.
Yes, they did. They did do that. And
they're doing a Ninja Turtle Street Fighter right now.
Yep.
Which, that's weird.
Very. But I like it.
I don't know. I'm not as immediately drawn to the mashup crossovers, I guess. Maybe if I find out because I just got to be sold on the premise. Like, why are they teaming up or whatever? Sometimes when I read them, like I always liked the Silver Surfer, Green Lantern one shot, the Galactus, Darkseid one was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like that one. I like the Walter Simonson X-Men Teen Titans crossover.
I mean, it's wonderful.
I love that so much.
Gotta get out out the circle templates. Did you see that I made paste ups for that hack slash cover?
Yes, you did.
I've got that over here. This is how another old timey comic thing.
Yeah, we'll bring it up.
Where this is I drew this cover and then I actually worked on it on my stream, and there's actually 2 layers of paste ups where it's actually like adhered on top of the board, like you can see. Like here, I use some acid-free tape to attach it. You can see that that's attached to the board. But actually, if you saw me drawing the big sail on the stream, I really didn't like it. So I actually lightboxed a new one and then X-Acto knifed the whole thing out.
Oh, damn.
And then pasted that on. And then I pasted on all of the labels, even the Rubber Chicken logo, because it's their exclusive.
That's awesome. That is so cool. You're just going old school in everything.
Yes, I wanted to do the paste ups before, but I just didn't make the time. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make the time because I want the finished thing to be how I want it, and it just looks better when it's framed, or when it's in your binder. It looks like a comic book cover. It's not just this piece of stagnant artwork. And I've been hand lettering on boards, and I've got another batch of Zipatone I just got today. So
yeah, I'm definitely jealous of your Zipatone collection that you have.
I will share the scans for sure. And I'm sure there's a way I can put like a host file on my website that people can just grab them from.
I still have to grab the other one.
I got to clean up I rescanned those. They had some inconsistencies. I still got to clean up the JPEGs and the TIFFs before I send them over to you.
Fair enough. Not a big deal. Is it late in your region? It is about 3 in the afternoon. Or 1,500 hours by military time.
Whenever anybody mentions Yu-Gi-Oh! Or the other card games that we sold at the comic store I worked at in high school, I was working there when we were selling the first release of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon cards and stuff. So I imagine some people, if they had kept those cards, had themselves some pretty valuable pulls over the years based on the recent sales. Because I remember people pulling those, like the Gen 1 Charizards and everything else in the store.
I remember when those were big. I was working for a video game store at the time when Pokemon came out. Let's see. Oh, here we go. From John. Have either of you, Allison and Ian, tried your hand at writing and drawing a Will Eisner 7-page story? I have. I'm a big Eisner fan. I actually have a complete run of The Spirit. All the magazines. And I love his stuff. For a while, I thought that might have been one of the best ways to do comics, was to just do a 7-page story and you're done. But yeah, I love Will Eisner stuff, and that. Oh yeah, you got them too. I have all those artwork too.
I've actually been doing more and more short stories, just because I find it for me, a large, long project really it takes so much mental energy for me to maintain the production behind it. Comics are just so much work. I mean,
yeah, they are.
And I've done 3 separate short stories that I've got in the can for some anthologies that I'm going to put out just of my own stuff. It's a way to have new books and new stories out regularly that I'm able to maintain the production on. I get bored or distracted, or I've got to do real life things, or I have just stuff that I have to do, and having a bunch of half-finished long projects is completely useless.
Yep. I've been really trying to push myself to get The Last Sentinel done, which is my spiritual sequel to my Manifested comic. Which is this right here.
There you go. Very nice.
So, so this is the quasi issue 2 is actually what the last Sentinel is. And what was it? I have learned so much since I did that book. So I'm very happy with what has been coming out, what I've been doing lately.
And I think that's true for everybody as they're making more and more comics.
Yeah. I'm also doing a class at the Kubert School, so.
Oh, did you sign up for one of the correspondence ones?
I'm actually doing one of their online courses.
Nice.
Yep.
They post all sorts of good stuff on their YouTube page too. That's for free if people listening want more resources, where it's either lectures by guest artists or the original video series that Joe made or whatever. It's all on there for free.
Yeah, those are cool. You will try to make short video from your stream. No, usually I just keep these as is. If I get enough like tool tips in them and everything, I might pull out some tips and things from them and make like a separate playlist. But as of right now, I pretty much just leave the streams as they are.
Just another layer of work, more work.
Exactly. And I only have so much energy.
So much energy, so much time.
Yeah. And MS has been kicking my ass lately.
Yeah.
It's not been a good time for me. Half expect Nita to be here. Yeah, probably do your family stuff. This is an odd time for me to be streaming, so.
My fault.
No, it's not that big of a deal. I don't care. I'm just glad I could stream today because it turned out that I wouldn't have been able to stream yesterday because I had a doctor's appointment that I had forgotten about. And then I got the notification. I was like, oh, right. I'm supposed to go to the doctor today. Like, there's a Friday in May I won't be streaming either because I have a doctor's appointment.
You've been keeping a pretty steady schedule anyway, so.
Yeah, I've only missed a couple, and it's basically all due to health stuff. So
yeah. I keep meaning to, and I did it once, and I managed to do it once. So, and I need to do it again. It's just to have an extra stream in the can that I can broadcast like in the time slot, so that it's there, like a pre-recorded one.
Yeah, that's something I was thinking about doing too. I found that crowdfunding, producing, and releasing my graphic novel series as 48-page cliffhanger chunks seems to work for me. To 128 pages released so far. Well, that's awesome. I definitely approve of that.
Yeah, that's very cool. It's hard enough to put out, a 24-page comic. It's very impressive that you've put out that much material already.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, actually, it's a little late, but not by much. So, we're going to do the pull list. So, what are you reading?
Yay.
Go here.
I don't have an applause button.
Yeah, I don't either. I have a Stream Deck, and I really should, key a bunch of stuff to it. Okay, so, the book I chose for this week is, I was talking about it earlier, actually, which was Liquid Kill. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but I love this art. It's by is it Umazak, I believe? Art and led by Gabriel Umazak. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing their name correctly, but it is definitely manga influenced. And a bit the coloring and everything in here very, very much reminds me. It's like Metal Gear Solid meets Mike Mignola. Actually, I'll go with hello so I can pop this. Get kind of a good look at it.
Very subdued and spot color.
Yes, which
is
I
cool.
really like. Some other. I'm really looking forward to reading this book. Basically, the thing that caught me with this was where is it? It was I saw a live stream that had Kim Jong-gi working on this cover. And this is basically the last cover that he's worked on. I love his artwork, so I actually went out of my way to get the black and white version of it.
Do that. Can you hold that up closer?
Sure.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's like a dark cyberpunk kind of style book.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went to get this book pretty much. I had to buy 10 copies of it to get that cover. And I got 2 of these ones that have the Metal Gear Solid style cover.
Liquid Kill.
Yep.
Who's the publisher on that one?
Whatnot.
Oh, okay.
I don't really know much about them.
That's the buying and selling comic book app.
Ah.
And they've started publishing their own books.
Oh, cool. All right.
I think they started they dipped their toe in with some variants, and then now they're doing full-on original books, which is cool.
Very cool. So yeah, I was really looking forward to this book when I ordered it. Another very manga-oriented cover.
I really like the colors on that.
So nice. It's very catchy. And this cover just called to me. I love the silhouette kind of look to the character.
Yeah.
So yeah, I bought every cover for it and got the Kim Jong-gi cover. So that was Liquid Kill. I'll probably read that while we're off stream. I'm going to sit down and read that. You have one art book. I don't have any of Kim Jong-gi's art books, no. I should probably get some. That Raven's coming out great. Kind of want it. Been really trying to work on my line weight. It's one of the things that Dave said I needed to work on. So, and
yeah.
My instructor at the Kubert School said the same thing. So, it's probably some truth in it. So.
Sure. What I try to do when I'm working on them, and it's something I also practice quite a bit, is just writing rules for myself for an image. Like in the foreground, I'll use, a certain tool, like for all of the outlines and everything. Like this is a thicker marker, and I'll just say everything in the foreground is this one, and then everything in the midground will be the next smaller tool,
Mm.
And then in the background, I'll use like little teeny tiny ones. And that helps me to at least mentally have base points for what my line widths need to be at each, level of depth. And obviously you play with it and do different things with it, but that at least gives me a mental starting point.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm trying to, I've noticed that some of my lines tend to look too similar. So I've been like trying to thicken places and leave other ones thinner.
I assume that was some of the manga influence because they use a lot of. It's not a dead line, but they use a very a fine line on, basically everything. It can be the same line weight for most of the whatever's on, the cartoon screen.
Yep, that is very true. I think that does come from my manga influence.
I think I'm going to change this whole arm over here. I'm not liking this hand or this arm. Just doesn't have enough zip to it. That's the elbow there.
Yeah, the Last of Us piece that I drew recently, I was really trying to work on my line weight with that piece.
Was that those character pieces you posted?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'll have to look at them again with that in mind.
Gonna go. Well, have a great one, Punk.
Thanks for hanging in.
Yeah, it was fun.
Sometimes I get into these loops in my brain. There we go. That's better.
Want to do? Rodney offered to do some inking for me.
Nice.
I might take him up on that. I gotta find out what his rates are. And what I can afford.
I don't know if I've seen Rodney inking other folks' work yet.
Yeah, I haven't.
Maybe I have.
Hmm?
I said maybe I haven't. I just didn't know it, but I usually just see him inking his own stuff.
Yeah, I haven't seen him do other things. Not off the top of my head that he's done other people's. I've just seen his own things.
And since we're mentioning Rodney, I've got to plug that their Doghouse Kickstarter is up, and I did a variant cover for them for that one, and it is available on Kickstarter. There's a link on my Facebook page for sure. When I read the script, I thought it was very like Ralph Bakshi-esque. So that's kind of the direction I was going with, like the color and the composition and everything else.
I got a Bakshi feel from it too.
See, and I was worried to bring that up during the launch party because I was the only person I think who mentioned that or was thinking that. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I read it wrong. Maybe I read the room wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I got that feel from the way they were talking about the project. I got that kind of a feel from it.
Yeah, kind of like Cool World, or
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of the feeling I got. Good. I'm glad I'm not alone on that one.
Yeah. Definitely not. I was thinking Cool World when I saw that. I really liked that movie.
It's it's fun cheese for sure. Gabriel Byrne chewing up some scenery.
Yep. Hollywood, if she could, and she does. I think that's the tagline for the movie.
Well, that was a movie that was definitely, like, rightly or wrongly, advertised heavily on the back of comic books for like a year. Like, if you look on a bunch of books from that year, whether I don't remember if it was Marvel or DC, but they definitely were advertising that to the young people.
Yep, that was advertised wrong, and that everything was Marvel at the time. But yeah, that was I think it was PG-13.
Yeah.
They should have gone for the hard R, but
I've read in interviews with Ralph that that's the direction they wanted to go, and the studio did not. So
yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yep.
I think if they did it nowadays, it would definitely be on a hard R.
Well, yeah, and now we just have more publicly accepted adult animation at this point. Like it or not, Family Guy has never tried to be for kids. Same thing with South Park, or all these properties that have gone on to make them enough money to justify allowing them to be a little raunchier.
Yep. American Dad.
I think I've seen like half an episode of that show.
Yeah, I've seen like an episode or two at most. I don't watch a lot of TV, so just no time.
Me neither, and I was never like the big Family Guy fan. So if you enjoy it, enjoy it.
Yep.
Now I'm having to change my thoughts on this. Is it snowing where you are?
It was earlier. It's actually, I think it's lightly flurrying. Like, I just happened to look out the window and I saw a speck of white float by, but I haven't seen another one really.
Yeah, we've got some light snow going on.
Yeah, you're a little bit further south than I am.
Yeah.
Not by much.
Well, thanks to these streams, we've been able to hang out more.
Yeah, that's very true. I miss seeing you at the Knights of Columbus Hall in Attleboro.
Yep. It was a fun show. And if I figured out, I think there's, it's moved over to Franklin. I've never been there.
Yeah.
I'll find out when the next one is. I would just go just to like goof off and buy dollar books and not set up as an artist.
I don't think I've ever really made money at that show, but I always had a good time. So
our goal was to cover gas money and then lunch, and if we could get some dollar books.
I did succeed doing that. So yeah.
Yeah. We weren't going there like, man, we need this to pay rent this month.
No, that was definitely dollar books and lunch and maybe gas. So yeah. I remember I got a New Gods #1 in the dollar bin, and it was a beaten to hell copy.
Well, we should do an episode, and now that you mentioned that, we should just pull like some of the ridiculous dollar bin pulls and just show them off.
Yeah, that would be really fun. That would be awesome.
Dollar bin treasures, or
I had some Wrightson Wrightson Swamp Things from the dollar bin.
I found a few beat ones over the years in the dollar bins. Yeah. And for years, you could get all the Redondo Swamp Things in the dollar bin, and I think they're terrific.
I love the Redondo ones. I just love Swamp Thing in general, so
Yeah.
I have to
Oh,
draw.
and the fact that they announced that they're doing new Swamp Thing stuff with the James Gunn things.
Yep. I got to draw Swamp Thing on stream one of these days. He's one of my favorite characters.
I've got that cover that I did the last time sitting here when we did the stream together.
Oh, that was a nice one.
It was fun.
I'll bring that up.
Trying to get like that spotlight effect and a little bit strokier than I normally do to give it more of a Wrightson-y feel and the longer ears and stuff. You can still definitely tell it's me, but I was trying some new stuff on it.
That was great. Oh, we have Marv in the house. Greetings, sinners. Yep, we're all sitting here, Marv.
Hey, Marv.
Oh.
Is Marv one of the Indie Comics Network folks?
Yep.
Cool.
Marv is a nice guy.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying how that's coming out.
Thank you. I've been using these Kuretake pens more and more.
I use those a lot.
They've got a little more bounce to them.
Yep.
Some people want that, really like stagnant, straight, dead line. And I just find that I can save a little bit of time with like, even just on that line right there, you can see that it tapers a little bit.
Yep.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I like those brush pens a lot. They are definitely cool.
Yeah, they're not super brushy.
No.
One.
No, that one, they're more like a rigid pen. But I just noticed that they were calling them brush pens.
Right, yes. They sell them as that. But it's almost more like a nicer archival flare pen if you've ever messed around with those. Just the cheapies.
I love flare pens, yeah.
They're so fun to draw with, but they turn yellow or brown pretty quickly.
Yep. Marv said, I have my sins and they're not a few. Probably work on her hair a bit more. Part of me is thinking about printing this out to do my finishes on it.
Yeah. When you print out your lines, do you do it in like a light gray or a light blue?
I do it in a red, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was my friend Rob got me doing that. I found it's easier on my eyes.
Oh, that's good.
So I was doing the blue line for a while, and I found it kind of stark to look at. And then my friend Rob was like, "Oh, try doing it in red." I was like, "Oh, okay." And I found it to be a bit easier.
That's good to know.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
I wonder if they're going to do any new Titan stuff, the new DC stuff, because it seems like it would be some. I know they did a TV show for a while. I haven't seen any of it.
It's okay. I have issues with certain things with the way they were doing it. All in all, I liked it. But I would have done it a bit differently.
Sure.
I have Mark here with try the red and the blue and the red lines too, but I can't look at it. Black is better for me. No, yeah, I understand that completely.
Whatever's easier on your cones there.
Yep. One of the things about like the first season, they were focusing on the horror elements of Trigon.
Oh, okay.
And I really enjoyed that. It was like how they got the team together and everything. And my issue was more of how they handled. They set up like these real world situations that's like, no, it wouldn't have just been ignored. And that's kind of what they ended up doing with like these situations they put the characters in.
Okay.
Or they ended up getting like ignored. And I'm like, I have issues with that.
Just dropped plot threads like mid thing.
Yeah. Like Raven basically gets arrested like in the first episode. And nothing really comes of it. Because she basically is she effectively would be considered an escaped prisoner, and nothing ever happens with it.
Yeah, because I watched Doom Patrol. I enjoyed that series, and it just got canceled with a cliffhanger. So
yeah, Doom Patrol was really good.
I'm just glad that we're getting announcements of things that aren't Batman.
Yes.
I'm so tired of everything being Batman, and the fact I have faith that they'll bring in stuff like Creature Commandos that they announced, or Booster Gold, just different stuff. Because I think you're seeing like the diminishing returns of rebooting the origins over and over again. You're just gonna kill the genre.
Yep. I am so happy they're doing Booster Gold. Yeah, the Titan series was the way it started was I was kind of like, this is how I want to do like a superhero team book. Then episode 2, I changed my mind. So
okay.
I still watched it, and overall, I thought it was okay. But it could have been a lot better.
One of the questions that got me into a little trouble, I think, on my stream was they were talking about my friends like to give me a hard time for not going and seeing all these movies and TV shows and stuff, and that's fine. But I do ask them this question of like, at what point do you just not see everything?
Yeah.
I don't want to ever be a hate watcher.
Yeah, no, I don't either. So my way of looking at movies and TV shows and stuff like that is I generally watch them and I watch them in a different frame of mind with a lot of these things. Like when I watch the new Star Wars movies, I try to watch them as if I was 6.
Mm-hmm.
And if it entertains me in that sense, that's all I care about. Because I was 6 years old when I saw Return of the Jedi in the theaters. Loved it. I was like 4 when I saw The Empire Strikes Back in the theater. I don't even think I was 4 yet. It was 1980. came out in May. I don't even think I was 4 years old yet. I saw that in the theater. I remember seeing that in the theater. And I saw the re-release of Star Wars right before that. Love them.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go to watch those types of movies and all that, I just don't look at them in that sense. I don't let my critical eye watch that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because I could talk for hours just on an episode of The Last of Us.
Mm-hmm.
I could point out every shot and why it was done that way. I don't care about that with the superhero movie.
Yeah.
It's like the movie Sicario. It's amazing. And every shot is done for a reason. So that's a much more like that's a film I would more or less analyze.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I try not to do that with comic book movies as much. Like if the only one I would think about doing that with would be Watchmen, and I got the Zack Snyder version.
Yep.
Which kind of missed the point.
No giant squid.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. From like a 20-year-old movie at this point.
Yeah, exactly. But like one of my issues with the Watchmen movie was I think he missed the point about the violence. And he definitely missed the point, I think, with Rorschach. This is a pretty movie, though.
Absolutely. Yep.
Like, I really enjoyed the Matt Reeves Batman movie, the Batman. I really enjoyed that.
Still haven't seen that one.
It was different enough. Also, it focused a bit more on him being a detective, which I liked.
Which makes sense. Yeah, for sure.
It didn't do what I mean, they're never going to make the Batman movie I want, which is the one that's set in the 1940s. I want the true noir Batman film. Like a late 30s, early 40s Batman movie. Like having more of the aesthetic of the animated series.
I feel like it's going to take something drastic for me to be like, I want another Batman movie. I don't know. At this point, like I've seen good Batman movies. I've seen fun Batman movies. I've seen animated Batman movies. It's like, how much of my life do I have to spend watching this guy, as Howard Chaykin puts it, have a bad day when he was 9?
Yeah, exactly. Like my favorite Batman movie is Mask of the Phantasm.
It's a terrific movie.
I like how you did the rings. Isn't that looking good?
Yeah, I had to change. I couldn't do like the fully black energy just because I moved her hand in front of her costume. So I wanted to be able to still see that.
Yeah, that's fine. Come on,
I'll probably still add,
Oh yeah, a ring. not excited anymore about superhero movies. In the last Spider-Man, people knew about who PP was 5 minutes after the end. The spell didn't work on newspapers, cable TV, and the internet. Okay.
I'm excited to see new characters. Like that's what I want. Like I'll go see, Creature Commandos. I'll go see like the
Yeah, I'll
stuff
go
that I
see
haven't
that.
seen. Also, just because I liked Peacemaker so much.
Yeah, I like the. Actually, I haven't watched the Peacemaker series.
I thought it was tremendously fun, and I think it's probably the only recent DC thing that I would watch again.
Yeah, I want to sit down and watch it because I'm a big James Gunn fan.
Yeah.
Because I've been watching his stuff since he was a Trauma guy.
Yeah. Yep. And I went into that assuming the worst as far as no offense, Mr. Cena, if at any point you see this, I had zero expectations for the range of acting from the lead, and he absolutely exceeded my expectations, and I was completely entertained, and there was an emotional arc to his character that I didn't expect, and it was quite good.
Yeah, I saw the last Spider-Man movie. I thought it was okay. I was entertained, but again, I don't watch them with a critical eye, so
Yeah.
I literally turn that side of my brain off to watch superhero movies usually.
My wife and I call those brain smoothing exercises.
Yeah, because like as I said, like I was talking to a friend about episode 3 of The Last of Us, and I could tell you why they did like just about every shot for every scene that they showed, like in detail. I could like go in the horror movie It Follows, which a lot of people think of as it's a demon that's transmitted by as a sexually transmitted disease. And yeah, you can look at it like that. But what it's about is the cycle of abuse. And
It's a terrific movie.
And again, that is something where the director literally picked every scene in that. Like, you can tell the camera was set for every scene in that movie. Beautifully filmed. Yeah, Marvelous. Same here. Dave Bautista is a very good actor too. The Rock, not so much in my opinion. That's fair.
I was not impressed by Black Adam. I did see that movie.
I was mildly amused. That was about it.
I watched it because I actually really enjoyed the Shazam flick. I did not expect to enjoy that movie.
Yeah, I liked the Shazam movie, and I thought it was going to be terrible.
I give it like a solid B, like if for a popcorn flick.
Yeah, I would say the same for a popcorn flick. It's not something I'll ever go out of my way to watch again, but it was I was entertained when I saw it.
Yeah, it was like a fun Sunday evening with nothing else going on.
Yeah, I saw that as I tend to go to movies early in the morning. Like I'll try to see like the first showing of a film because well I'm handicapped and I'm immunocompromised, so I still worry about COVID. So I try not to ever go to crowded theaters. And for what it was, I enjoyed it.
My old man and I have long been a Sunday at noon or 1 o'clock type film watcher.
Yeah, I've definitely done that before.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
I don't even remember the last movie I saw opening night.
I saw Quantum Mania on opening day.
Okay.
But again, that 10:30 a.m. I think I was one of the only people in the theater.
Yeah, I did see the Oscar-nominated short films last weekend, which that was fun.
Yeah, I got to I have to sit down and watch those. I almost went to see Titanic again for the 25th anniversary.
Oh, Titanic.
I like the cheesy romantic movies, but I'm a
Absolutely.
girl, so I'm allowed. So,
I'm in it for Billy Zane, okay?
all right. That's good. Okay. I love Billy Zane in that movie. Didn't he play the Phantom?
He played the Phantom, and he was one of the goons in Back to the Future.
That's right, he was.
We can do this the easy way or the hard way.
That's right. It's so good. The easy way.
Yep. Yep.
It's the second time that SUV is pulled in here and backed up and stuff. Oh, no, she does live here. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. When I watch movies, I definitely have different modes of how I watch them.
Movies or television. I mean, because if you go in expecting like giant character development or, it's the same way with anything. It's with mainstream, comics or anything. Like if you keep your expectations low, you can pretty well guarantee that you'll have a better time.
I agree. Yeah, I don't go into anything expecting it to be good. I expect to be entertained in some minor way. I don't go to the theaters. People don't know how to respect others, always on the phone and talking. Which Back to the Future movie was Zane? That was Back to the Future 2.
He was in all of them.
Yeah, he wasn't all. He was a thug in the background of all
Yep,
of them.
yep,
2
yep.
was the one we were quoting.
Yep.
Um,
In the future Biff Tannen Biff Casino, when he is the giant Donald Trump mogul.
Yep, the Donald Trump character. I was going to say that was a spoof of Donald Trump. So.
Yep.
But yeah, he was. He knocked Marty out. So.
That was when you see Leah Thompson as his mom, and she's all glammed out.
Yep, had the boob job and everything.
Yeah.
They cut out a scene from that I think would have been awesome. Well, there's 2 scenes they cut out of that movie that I really wish they showed. One was when Biff was getting out of the time machine after stealing it. There was a thing because he kind of trips and hurts himself a bit.
Yeah, I remember that part. Yeah.
When he stumbles to the corner, he fades away.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep. I'll check it out. Saw those movies 30 times, but never realized he was there. Thanks. Yeah, no problem. This is something I like to point out to people. Dan Aykroyd's in the Temple of Doom. And once you figure out where it is, you can't unsee it.
I don't think I knew that. Yeah.
But there's a scene with basically in the past, shortly after Marty escapes from Biff with the time machine where he jumps off the roof and everything. Yeah, spoilers on the 30-year-old movie. But
how dare you?
Yep. And he gets away with Doc. There's a scene where his mom comes in and she pulls a gun on him. And it was basically alluding that she's the one who killed him in the past and why he faded away.
Oh. That's kind of a major rewrite.
Yep. Yeah, they pulled those scenes out. I kind of wish they left them in. But
yeah, that's interesting that they went that way.
I think it changes the motif of the film, but I think it would have worked for that.
I mean, I guess it doesn't make Marty and Doc as much the hero.
Yeah. But yep, Dan Aykroyd's in Temple of Doom.
I had no idea.
Yeah, no one ever does until they see it. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. And you're just like, how the hell did I miss that?
It's like seeing Tobey Maguire in The Wizard.
Yes. He's just like randomly in there. So,
He's hanging out with Lucas for the Power Glove.
Yep. I was pretty sure I knew the scene he was in, so.
Yeah, a friend of mine and I went to a Johnny Cupcake screening in Boston of The Wizard, and I guess they were most of the people were there to get some sort of limited edition T-shirt. So we walked in, got our movie ticket, sat down, and nobody came into the movie until after all the shirts were sold out or whatever.
Yeah, I just would have gone to see the movie. So.
We did not buy the expensive T-shirt or whatever. We were there. We were there to. When you see Toby, you yell Toby at the screen.
Yep.
Toby.
Yeah, that would be the reason I would go to that movie. Would be just to basically goof off that it's The Wizard, Fred Savage 1980s movie about Nintendo.
Oh yeah, it's a Nintendo commercial. It's a 2-hour commercial.
Oh god, yeah.
Thanks, Marv. You have a good weekend too.
Yeah, have a great one, Marv. Marv's good people. I like Marv. Actually, I pretty much like everyone in the Indie Comics Network. I could do a stream with Daphne at some point.
She's one of the lead people, right?
Yep. I kind of think of her and Nita as the leaders.
Yeah.
Nita specifically. And Meredith was, one of the big brains behind it. Unfortunately, she passed away a year ago.
Yeah. Everybody I've worked with so far has been very nice. So.
Well, that's good.
Tina and Rodney and
Tina's great.
The Hasm Productions folks.
He's like Randy. He's he definitely knows his comics and stuff and art.
Yeah, I only got to meet Rodney because we were mutual friends at Gem City Con. I was sitting near Sean Forney and Nate and everybody, and we were just chatting about baseball.
Well, that works. I don't know anything about baseball aside from you hit a round ball with a round bat.
Both of those things are true. So you're on the right. You've got a good foundation.
I know the basics of how to play, and that's about it. So,
yeah, I grew up playing. I played in high school. I played Legion ball. I played in college. It was a fun time back in the day.
I played soccer and basketball.
Well, with your height, I mean, somebody would definitely be like, sign her up.
Yeah, I couldn't get out of that. So, I mean, I am wearing a Red Sox t-shirt, though. But I will always root for the home team.
I'm surprised they didn't try to recruit you for the volleyball team, too. Usually the tall folks usually get recruited for that, too.
I played soccer, so...
Oh, okay.
I literally, when I changed schools, my late sophomore year of high school, I won't go into reasons why, but let's just say that didn't work out at the school I was at.
Sure.
I was literally walking through the hallway, trying to get to one of my classes, and I didn't really know the building that well at this point. and I get stopped by the soccer coach. And he was like, "You're that goalie for such and such school who always wears the sunglasses. Like, you're the one they call shades." And I was like, "Those are just my glasses. They just turn into sunglasses." And he's like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I go to school here." And he's like, "So you're going to try out for the team, right?" And I was like, I wasn't thinking about it. I was actually thinking about taking my junior year off. And it's like, "So you're going to try out for the team, right?" So I got like press ganged into service. So,
Coach wrangled you in.
yep, that was basically me. And I was like, "Well, I guess I'm not avoiding this." Then he told the basketball coach.
We got this tall person who is coordinated and willing to join the team.
Yeah. So I didn't get out of it. And in spring, I didn't play a sport.
Played baseball in the spring, played hockey in the winter, and I played fall baseball. And then we also did like year-round training. So I would like alternate between which team I was training with, depending on what the next sport was.
I did what was it? I wanted to play hockey, but didn't have a girls team. So but basketball was a thing.
There was a really excellent lady on my baseball team all the way up until high school. And she played, she switched over to softball, and obviously like switching from baseball to softball, she got like all of the scholarship money because she was just terrific athlete.
I'd like to consider myself talented, but nothing extravagant. I played varsity soccer. I played varsity basketball.
Did you sport the fancy letter jacket?
Nope.
Me neither. Walking down the hallways, doing the Fonz strut.
Yeah. Nope. Didn't care. People used to ask me, it's like, "Why aren't you wearing your letter jacket?" I'm like, "I didn't buy one."
No, they were expensive.
Yep. That was the reason. I don't really want one either.
And they give you the letter on like a piece of like with like a certificate where I was. Was it the same where you were?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
When I was in Catholic school, we had the letter jackets there too, but I never bothered because we couldn't wear them anyway because we had a uniform. So
yeah,
it was like, yeah, this isn't in uniform. So
we'll take your money for it, but you can't wear it here.
yeah, basically. I will say this though, I much preferred wearing a uniform to school than regular clothes.
Oh, really?
It was so much easier. I always knew what I was wearing every day.
That's true.
Never had to think about, I need to get clothes. It was literally just put on my uniform.
So how long are we going? We're almost at 4 o'clock.
Oh God, I didn't even notice. Yeah, I was thinking we'd go about 4.
Okay.
So wind things down. Just noticed that. Thank you for pointing that out. I was kind of in the zone.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. I would agree. Hey, Red Panda. How's it going? You came in right as we're ending everything. I'm sorry. Oh, God. Actually, I'm gonna... Oh, I didn't save that. Good. Yeah, sorry. We started 2, and, we're, going 2 hours. I'm actually gonna end my screen share. I'm gonna pop up Ian one more time.
Got pretty far. Not quite done or anything. Still got to do like some misty clouds and some spatter and stuff, but made a good progress.
Yeah, it came out really nice.
Thank you.
So Ian, where can they find you?
They can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, either as Ian Chase Nichols or Ian C. Nichols. There's a photographer that's name is also Ian Chase Nichols, and I think we both have been fighting for each of the handles and screen names for the last 30 years. So,
probably.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the follow, Red Band. I appreciate that.
But yeah, you can see me all the time. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. I do a live drawing stream, and Allison has been on, and I'm sure we'll convince her to come on again at some point in the future. And we do basically this and talk about comics and draw things and try to have a good time. So
I'll definitely be on again. I love hanging out with you. And Red Panda enjoys it. Looks really good. Fantastic.
And thank you for having me on your show.
Anytime. You're always welcome. But I'm going to hit out our outro. Actually, I'm going to play my trailer first, then I'm going to hit the outro. All right.
Well, that was cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I made a trailer for it for when I eventually do my Kickstarter and everything. I'm starting to get close to where I'm gonna do the Kickstarter for the book. So
the video looks very cool.
Thank you. I had fun making it. All right, I'll play the outro, and I will see you all on the flip side.
Bye, everybody.
Back to normal times, Friday, 3 p.m. Talk to you later. Bye.